Well, here we are with the prime time picks for this week. We're sitting down with Thursday night as Thursday night football begins. And after I have had 3 straight 4-1 weeks, I've caught up to Brandon at the top of the leaderboard. We are both 23 and 17. The listeners, you guys are next, 20, 17, and 3.
How do you get 3 ties?
I know. The
You
ties,
suck, listeners.
They tied once more last week.
No, you're better than me.
And then we have Jake bringing up the rear, 14 and 26.
I'd like to point out that I went positive for the first time in like
A month?
since week 1. So
3 and 2.
It's something to be
Small
proud
victories.
of. Small victories. I'm never picking the Bills again because whenever I pick them, they screw me over because I thought Philly was dead in the water, and then the Bills make them look like Super
Philly
Bowl
beats
champs.
good teams. That's it.
It's weird.
They
It's
only beat
super
good
weird.
teams. Well, let's start with tonight's game. We have 49ers at Cardinals. The listeners have already chosen the 49ers, and I'm taking them as well. Starting out, Jake?
I think it's going to be 49ers across the board. I mean, it'd be silly to pick against them. They're the best team in the NFL right now.
Well, we just got to put it on record. So, Brandon,
Yeah, 49ers defense is too good. Carolina won't be able to keep up.
all in agreement, but here's where things I think are going to start to differ. Patriots are leading the Ravens in our listener poll for Sunday night right now. And Jake, we'll start with you.
Well, I happened to talk to you before we went on the air earlier today, and I feel like I made a mistake because I have a pick here that I think it's got to be the Ravens. It's going to be the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson is going to give that defense fits, and let's be honest, the Patriots haven't been playing good teams anyway, and I think this is going to be their first real test of the season, and I think the Ravens are going to take it this time.
Brandon.
I would agree with you that the Ravens are definitely the best team that the Patriots have played this year.
I mean, that's pretty easy.
That's what-
What's
yeah.
number 2, Cleveland?
No, Buffalo.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, Buffalo's actually has a winning
Buffalo's
record.
5-2. But I don't think Lamar Jackson, I don't think that they're good enough to beat the Patriots. I think the Patriots defense is special. I think the Patriots defense is one of the greatest that there's ever been. And I think they will continue to prove that they don't have enough weapons. And I know Lamar Jackson against Bill Belichick is not going to get 200 yards rushing or anything,
Belichick has
like
a
that.
crazy record against young quarterbacks, like
Yeah.
in their first 2 years.
Yeah. So I don't see Baltimore being able to score enough points to be able to win. Even though New England's offense is not great this year, but they will be good enough.
Well, I am going with the Ravens, my
Ooh.
AFC team, and here's why, Jake. It's a little different reason than you. I think that the Patriots are going to be way more conservative in their play calling than they've been in any of their previous games because this could be a possible playoff matchup, and they won't want to show too much of their playbook, kind of like an Iowa State versus UNI, and you almost blow the game because you're playing conservative, thinking about showing people your playbook. I think the Ravens are going to come out with a gritty, tight win.
And I think I understand that line of thinking, and that's why I have the Ravens winning this time because I think they're going to meet again in the playoffs, and I think the Patriots are more dangerous than they are now. I think it's valid to say that their defense is special because it's one of the best defenses I've ever seen in my life. So I completely understand with going with the Patriots. That's kind of a toss-up game.
I just don't see how they're going to create yards in the pass game
You're right.
consistently.
The thing about the Patriots, and I said this to Jake earlier today, their front defensive line is so athletic, and you saw how quickly they disrupted Baker Mayfield and created quick turnovers because he couldn't even flip the ball for a pitch.
They intercepted a 2-yard, not even a 2-yard
It was
pass.
in the
looked like-
backfield.
yeah.
They were in the backfield
Yeah.
by the time that the guy who started in motion
Exactly.
was there.
It looked like he just threw it to the defensive player. It looked like he was just like, here, take it.
That was an incredible play.
It was Deshaun Kaiser to Khalil Mack.
And that's Bill. And honestly, Bill Belichick probably should get 90% of that interception because they know what play's coming. He's made sure they're in the right position to make that play, and there it is.
I saw Romo talking last week, trying to figure out who's doing the defensive play calling for New England. And he asked the cameraman, hey, can you cut to Belichick here? Because he was trying to see when he talks in his mic because he doesn't have a play sheet. Does he call defensive plays without a play sheet, or is it his son?
I think his son is the one that calls plays.
Yeah.
I don't think Belichick calls any plays. But
I think
he's in their ear. He's in their ear. He's telling them what to do.
Yeah,
He's like
think,
an overview guy.
Yeah. He's your traditional head coach.
I see
Right.
this, and we're gonna switch up.
exactly.
what
He's
we
just
got.
an overseer of the team. That's it. And yeah, that's a more traditional sense. Now you have more play calling coaches.
From Sunday night to Monday night, Cowboys at Giants. A game in New York, and the Cowboys just lost in New York a few weeks ago. Brandon, will they lose again in New York?
No, I see this going about as well as Week 1 did for the Giants. I think the Cowboys are just too talented for the Giants.
But it's different. They've got Daniel Jones.
Yes, they do, but their offense wasn't necessarily the problem the first time. So Dallas looked unbeatable when they played New York in Week 1.
So we'll see how that goes, and if it's just a repeat of what they did before with the Cowboys trying to get back on the right track here. Moving on to wild card picks. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped you guys, or I skipped me and Jake. I just figured we're all gonna pick the Cowboys.
Yeah, we're all Cowboys.
Okay.
Pretty safe bet.
that was kind of a. We're all probably around the table. Flipping it back to Brandon for the wild card.
I think I'm gonna take Seattle at home against Tampa Bay for my wild card.
That's a pretty good one. Jake, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the Buccaneers are just depressing, so I don't want to talk about
But Jameis is a future Hall of Famer. Brandon, have you seen within
This
the
is
past
incredible, by
within
the
like
way.
the past 2 days, somebody uncovered, we think, no
It's
facts.
all speculation.
It's all speculation, but because this person's recover phone number is the same final 2 digits as the Bucks GM's phone number, they think this guy is the Bucks GM's burner, and he wrote an ebook that is connected to his Twitter that is 400 pages of why Jameis is actually a Hall of Famer based on stats and how he's in a bad situation. Would you read that?
No.
No.
I don't think anybody would bother reading that. That's
How
ridiculous.
can someone be a Hall of Famer after 5 years?
But this guy, listen
5
to this.
years and having only one winning record
So
as a
this-
starter.
This Twitter account is denying that it is the Bucks GM to the point where he said, "Get him on a TV show, and I will call in at the same time."
I gotta know: are you the whistleblower? Are you the whistleblower behind this?
It's not me.
This
I heard
feels
it.
like something you would do for content on this show.
I found this gem of sports Twitter from Clay Travis talking about it, who does find all of these things.
Is that Outkick the Coverage?
Correct.
Oh.
That's what I listened to before my morning job. Jake, a wild card.
You guys gotta understand. If there is a possible Tank Bowl style game, Jake's gonna pick it.
Oh man, for real?
For the wild card, Jake is taking the Jets
What a lock. That's
over the Dolphins.
lock.
I don't know.
Lock.
Miami's
losses?
Miami's been playing pretty well
They,
lately.
but then they realize in the Monday night game, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're winning, so we're gonna blitz everybody on a
Yeah,
third
that
and
was a
long."
pretty terrible play call, but
I know that the Jets have had some issues, personnel-wise, especially with Jamal Adams and Le'Veon Bell in the past week or two, but this is a lock. They're coming off 2 losses, and they're trying to compete again, and Miami's trying to do everything but compete, including get Aqib Talib, which
And
I don't understand that in the
You
first
better
place.
believe I'm gonna just call it now. My wild card for in December when the Bengals play the Dolphins. Got that one unlocked too. What's yours, Paul? You don't have it, do you?
My wild card, come on, guys, Washington at Buffalo. Oh, my gosh.
That's an easy
That's
pick.
a stomping. Washington scored 9 points at Minnesota last week. Buffalo has a better defense than Minnesota. Will they even score a touchdown? I don't know. They didn't last week, though. So,
Who would have thought that the Redskins would be the worst team from DC?
well, they're actually about to get into very serious litigation with Trent Williams. Is that his last name?
Yeah.
Trent Williams about his cancer and other medical issues.
Yikes.
So we'll see. I mean, leave it to the Redskins to find themselves in the bad light for public opinion. I mean, that's never happened
Oh,
with
yeah,
their
that's
name
silly.
or anything
That would never
before.
happen, no.
Never heard of that.
Nope.
Those are some good wild card picks. Upsets, Jake. upset of the week?
I've been going back and forth on my upset pick, and it's been tricky. And I know that when I pick this team, it's a real 50-50 shot for me. They've helped me in 1 week. They've really hurt me in another, but I've been a victim of a conspiracy, and I got to trust my heart. I'm taking the Lions as the upset pick.
There's a great upset pick. And you heard that before this in Paul's Fab 5+1. That is a great upset pick.
I got to go with it. It was between that, and I'm sure Brandon's going to take my second choice.
Well, my choice was Detroit, so
Oh.
I'm scrambling here. I think I'm going to go a little bit. Kansas City is interesting because I can't believe that they are not favored. But I think I'm actually going to go with Jacksonville over Houston.
Interesting.
Wow.
Jacksonville at home.
That's a
Really
bold pick there,
Yeah.
man.
Houston. No. I mean, no J.J. Watt for the rest of the season.
But Deshaun's so good. It's hard to pick against
We'll see. We'll see. Good pick. My upset pick. I mean, I wanted Detroit too.
Everybody wanted the
Well,
Lions.
I said it 3 weeks ago. I said Oakland was only going to win 5 games, and they already had 3 of them. So
Right. Yeah. It's actually, I'm a little
I would
surprised
say-
at how Oakland has competed so far this year.
Like I said, I went back and forth between the Lions and the Chiefs. Those are the two that I thought were glaring to me. But
For my upset, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I was looking at Minnesota at Kansas City. So hard to believe that Kansas City would lose another game at home. But I'm not going to touch that one because it's a little too up in the air. And Brandon, you're looking like you agree with me. So
that's why I stayed away.
exactly. So I'm going to actually go to the city of brotherly love. And I think Chicago's going to bounce back in Philadelphia.
what?
Yeah.
I thought about that, but I can't. trust the
Chicago
kicking
doesn't
game
have a
in Chicago.
quarterback.
I know. There's so many iffy things about Chicago.
The coach doesn't even trust the quarterback.
What's-
If you were deciding if you should start your draft pick from a few years ago or Chase Daniel, you've got a serious problem.
Yep. Well, great primetime picks.
I'm going 5-0 this week. I can feel it. Or at the very least 4-1. Go Ravens.
Do you want me to do an outro here?
This is the last segment.
Yeah. Or I can do one later.
You can do it now if you want.
Okay. Well, a whole lot of great football this week. I know the game that I am most excited for, college or pro, has got to be Sunday night, New England at Baltimore. That might be my favorite non-Packer football game that I'm most excited about in this early football season. What about you guys? One game, college or pro, that you're really looking forward to?
Well, other than Homer picks, there's really actually not a lot on the docket this week because a lot of
Iowa and Iowa State are both on a bye.
yeah.
There's a lot of college game, a lot
of
of college
bye
teams.
weeks this week.
Alabama's on a bye, LSU's on a bye, Wisconsin's on. A lot of the major college football teams are on byes this week.
But I would have to say of the options given, I think Oregon and USC is intriguing to me. I think the Ducks have my attention because they're the best chance for the Pac-12, and I think they're really coming together at the right time. So I want to watch them against USC.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with college as well. Florida and Georgia are playing this week for the SEC East title.
It's the world's
most
largest
likely.
World's largest cocktail party. Greatest name for a rivalry ever.
So
I thought that
I
was-
think that one will be. I think that one will be fun when there's not a lot of. I mean, Saturday Night Football is SMU in Memphis, so
But that would be a fun game too.
If it's in the
a
Liberty
rank-
Bowl,
it's, a
it's
ranked,
cool.
It's a ranked matchup, but
I would assume that the world's largest cocktail party would be at Churchill Downs. But we can discuss
Well,
that.
it's in Florida, and all old people drink our cocktails. Come
but
on,
it's in Gainesville.
it's in Jacksonville, isn't it? It's
Oh,
usually-
are they playing neutral?
They usually, they play a neutral game in
How
Jacksonville.
little I care about that rivalry.
It's a shame.
Well, we'll be watching all of those games, and when the drama happens, in game or out of game, we will bring it to you next week. For Jake Williams and Brandon Plecker, this is the Loud Sports Podcast.